Were you for or against these agreement terms?
I'm definitely against it, and the reason is because I just asked Josh, I said, what if Iran really gets the nuclear deal and they will be powerful with the nuclear bomb? What would happen if they do that? And what will happen if they actually attack Israel? And then he said, yes, Israel will be gone. So I'm asking, why are you putting Israel at risk for with such a great danger? And he just had no answer.
This is the fellow who was debating in favor of the deal.
Yes, that was Josh, and he was favor of the deal. And he said that if really Iran gets the nuclear weapon, Israel is gone.
So why is he so emphatic for it, do you feel?
I think because he doesn't want to see the reality that Iran is not a trustworthy country. Iran has cheated numerous times, and Iran is not going to be a civilized country. Iran is a country that they kill their own people. They kill young generations because the young generation will realize who they are. So with the power that the United States has, and with the sanction that they already imposed and they were getting somewhere, they should not cut it short, and they should have gone all the way to make sure that Iran will never, ever get any nuclear weapon.
Okay, so we're here in Beverly Hills where there are a lot of Iranian refugees, immigrants from Iran. Do you feel a sense of conflict, internal conflict, because of your family heritage there?
Actually, talking to all family and friends, I would say 99.9% of Persians who know what this regime is all about, who actually run away from the country in the hardest way with the younger kids and adults on their hand. They know that we cannot trust this regime. We all know that we cannot trust this regime, and this is not a regime that we could empower them with money, with nuclear weapon, and time that then it will be World War III. Definitely it will be the World War III.
Is it different between Jewish Iranians and Muslim Iranians in LA?
A lot of Muslim people are against the deal also. There was a rally in front of a federal building that Muslim people came, they donated money, and they donated all the flowers, flyers, and T-shirts that they said we don't want nuclear Iran because they know that there will be a World War III.
So people came out here tonight at a local synagogue for this debate, but what organized opposition is there besides the federal building on the part of Iranian Americans? What sort of organized opposition is there towards Ted Lieu, who is a congressman for part of the area, and also for our senators, Barbara Boxer and Dianne Feinstein? Is there anything?
Well, I know that there's a lot of petition to be signed. I signed a couple of petitions. I know that Sam Avery has a petition that he's taking to the Congress, and there's on website 30 years after. People could definitely get into and sign it. And also there is a petition on Stand With Israel. There's on their website that we could sign, and we could ask them that we don't want, as a people, we don't want Iran to get to this nuclear weapon.
Is anyone saying to any of these elected officials, if you don't oppose this deal, we're not supporting your re-election?
I'm sure they are, yes. Yes, I'm sure they are, because if they're not working for us, they should not be in the office. We don't want Iran to get a nuclear weapon because I'm Persian, I'm Iranian, I've been raised there. I had to run away from the country with two young girls at the age of 5 and 6 without my husband because they were endangered, because they were imposing Islam on my kids because my kids were Jewish. So I know that if they get their hand on the nuclear weapon, they go all around the region and all around the world, and they will ask everybody, either you become Muslim or we have the power to destroy you. So we don't want them to get the nuclear weapon just for the sake of the war, because if not, we have to get into a war, and that will be really costly for all the people on the earth. So signing this agreement is actually a path to World War III.
It's not a path towards peace and stopping a war?
Definitely not. Definitely 100% not. This is a path to World War III, and this is why we want to stop that, because we don't want to get into a war. We don't want the blood. These are the blood has been wasted on Islam. We just want to negotiate it and make sure that we could do it with negotiation. But this deal, it will push the next administration in 10, 15 years, and definitely Israel, to get into a World War III.
People who are saying that people who oppose this deal, to not sign the deal, would result in war. How do you feel about that?
That's not true, because if Iran is so anxious to get the nuclear weapon with all that money, why do they need that for? Why do they need to be that powerful and that rich in that region? The only reason is because they want to expose everyone to Islam, and they want to make sure that we will follow the religion as like ISIS, like what ISIS is doing. The reason that ISIS is powerful because they have the oil and they have the money and they have the people, and this is exactly what Iran wants to do. This is really, really dangerous.
Do you believe that Iran would start a nuclear war with Israel?
100%. I actually visited Israel about 2 years ago, and they were going to add a section to their hospital, so in case of Iran gets the nuclear weapon and Iran attacks Israel, they could be able to handle it. But they said that it's not going to, we will not be able to save them, because by the time, if they attack Israel, the hospital is not large enough or big enough to be able to handle the whole country. And this is really, really dangerous, and sorry for that.
But aren't the Ayatollah's regime worried that Israel might strike them back and kill a lot of Iranians?
I don't think so, because they're not afraid to be killed. They are actually suicide bombers, so they want to be killed, to kill people. You and I will never ask our kids to wrap themselves with a bomb and go and kill people just to be killed. No, we're not going to do that. But they are okay if they get killed, because they think that it's jihad, and they think that they go to the heaven and they're going to be 7 virgin women waiting for them at the door. So they belief system is fundamentally wrong. And because of that, we should not give them the power, and we should not be able to have them have that. We should definitely, with the power of America and the whole world, right now is the time to stop them. And if we pass that, we will never be able to stop
If we pass this now?
If we pass this deal now, we will not be able to stop Iran from having a nuclear weapon, and we definitely will have the World War II.
World War III?
World War III.